Welcome to the Trust Factor Podcast, the only podcast that guarantees your success when you implement its divine age-old teachings. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for checking in today on Purim. Happy Purim. I hope you had a meaningful celebration last night and you heard the Megillah. You're going to hear it again today because that's your obligation. The good news, my friends, is the very good news that a lot of us don't have eyes to see. Now, when you're in it, you don't have eyes to see life. That's just the reality. If we were outside of it looking in and we had perspective, we would see that the new Haman is dead. He's gone. On Purim, leading into Purim, the same war that monster Khomeini tried to impose on the Jewish state, don't kid yourself. The reason we had October the 7th, my friends, is because Iran is the number one sponsor of state terror around the world. They are the ones who finance Hamas. They're the ones who finance Hezbollah. They're the ones who spend money on bombs, on death, and on destruction. The reason we had October 7th was because of the new Haman. That new Haman, that war that he brought upon the Jewish nation, that he thought was going to destroy us, guess what it did? Exactly the same thing that happened to the original Haman. The tree that he put up to hang Mordechai on, he was hung on. Same thing. You started a war against God's nation, you are dead. Simple, guys. Now, we don't have eyes to see it unless you have somebody giving you that perspective. But that's exactly what happened, leading into none other than Purim. Where? In Iran, Persia, same place. Same geography, same story, repeating all over again. And you'll remember what I told you about which holiday is going to remain. Purim. You think it's coincidence that we're sitting where we are right now on the world clock of when time is supposed to come to an end, when things are supposed to change? It's only 6,000 years, my friends. This world was created to last 6,000 years. Right now, we're closing in on the last 200 years. We're basically there. If you're looking at a clock on the wall and you're trying to determine what time is it, if midnight is the time that it's supposed to strike, meaning the 6,000 is midnight, we're right there, minutes. Like the last 5 minutes are counting down. So it's no coincidence that that's exactly what's happening right now in the world. Wars everywhere, uncertainty everywhere. Everybody's coming back either on one extreme or the other. They're either coming back to their creator in masses, which is happening everywhere. I'm seeing it. Or they're running away and trying to become the word of doubt, the word of evil, all the negativity in the world. It's either or. Nobody's operating in the middle anymore. And that's by design because Hashem is testing. Where are you going to go when things get difficult? When things are tough, are you going to throw your hands up in the air? Are you going to surrender to your evil inclination? Are you going to do whatever it takes, take whatever you can off the table, take as much as you can, as quickly as you can before it's all over? Or are you going to do the opposite? I see young people coming to shul. I see teenagers. It's been like that for the last few years. Teenagers coming by themselves. Their parents are secular. They have no connection back to Judaism. In fact, so many times I've seen people whose parents are anti-religion. And these people are sneaking out of the house to come to shul. I've seen that. Believe it or not, it still exists today. The point is there is such a movement in the young world, in the young community of Jews who are coming back to God and to religion and to meaning and spirituality and purpose and all these wonderful things. And everything that's happening in the world is contributing to that. Bottom line, that's just the reality. It's all contributing. It's all by design, my friends. Now, we have to figure this out because if we're going in that direction, if people are coming back in droves, which is wonderful, then the question becomes, how do we operate? Because a lot of these people are coming and they're blindfolded. They want to connect spiritually, but they don't understand how to do that. There are mechanisms in place to be able to connect to your creator. You know, we've been talking about that. So if you know young people who are trying to make a move in the direction of godliness and spirituality, send them the podcast. This is the stuff they need to hear because this is the practical. This is the meat and potatoes. This is how they should do it and how they should execute so that they come out successful. Let's get into it. Tribulations. We're here making mistakes. We're here doing things, whether we are aware of it, whether we're not aware of it, we're making mistakes. That's who we are. We're human beings. We're programmed to make mistakes. It's not good enough to say one of two things. It's not a big deal. So I'll do a mitzvah and the mitzvah will counteract. Wrong. That's not how it works. You can't say it's okay. I'll just err because I was created faulty and God knows that I'm faulty and he created me faulty and therefore it's okay that I make mistakes. He'll forgive me. I'll do mitzvahs. Wrong. That's not how it works. You have to fix what you've done. You have to fix the wrong that you've brought into this world. And you can't think to yourself, it's okay. I know better. It's okay. Times are different. Times have changed. Society is accepting X or Y or Z. Wrong. That's not the approach you're supposed to be taking to this. You have to acknowledge that the Torah, while it was given 3,500 years ago, was given by a God who knows everything that ever was, is, or will be, and controls it. So when he gave it 3,500 years ago, he knew about technology. He knew about advancements. He knew about all kinds of different things that they didn't have in the world 3,500 years ago. And he knew about everything in every single generation. And therefore, the same Torah that he gave to us 3,500 years ago applies today just as much, if not more so, than it did back then, because he understood that we are getting more and more noise, more and more challenges that they didn't have back then. It gets more and more challenging, just like any other race. At the end, it gets more and more difficult because we have to weed out the good from the bad. We have to see who really wants this. So acknowledge that the Torah is true and it is pure and follow its instructions. So how do we fix it when we make a mistake? So he says over here, very interesting. Let's read. Nothing triggers tribulation like sadness and depression. Therefore, when taking into account the principle that there are no tribulations without prior transgressions, like we've said, that if you're dealing with the tribulation, a challenge in life, it's because you did something wrong that you need to repair, and he's trying to help you to repair it in this temporary, simple world to repair. A person must examine himself whether he's guilty of needless whining and complaining. Do we whine and complain, not realizing that we're suffering because of something that we've done, and therefore stop whining, stop complaining, recognize that it's coming from a good place? Is that what's happening? Or are we needlessly crying and complaining? Or is there ingratitude and the failure to express gratitude? The fact that I don't appreciate what's being done for me, or even if I do, I'm not verbalizing it, which is critically important, because that's what makes it real. When somebody does something for you, verbalize the appreciation. A person with difficulties in life must make a valiant effort to be happy at all costs, looking for the many reasons to be thankful, taking nothing for granted, the opposite of what most of us are doing, running around trying to figure out why all these bad things are happening to us. Stop. Don't focus on the negative. It's not bad for you. It is perfect for you. It's so hard to see when you're in it. I know. I've been there. I go through it just like all of you do. It pulls on us. It distracts us. It wants our attention badly, and it wants to dominate our attention. Don't let it. And the only way not to let it is to stop, shake your head, and then focus in on the good. Focus on your children. Focus on your home. Focus on your spouse. Focus on whatever things are bringing you joy, and I'm sure there are many. Focus on those. Every heartbeat and every breath that one takes is a good reason to thank your Creator. Just think of the people who are in hospital, people who have been diagnosed, and people who are at their end of their life and they're not in their 80s and 90s. They're anywhere from birth up until 80 or 90. The hospital isn't only filled with old people. There are plenty of young people, especially in our day and age. We see the news on social media. We see celebrities. We see people who are worthy of being put on social media, because of course you and I aren't. But we see. So we have eyes to see and ears to hear what's going on in the world. So when we see people dropping dead at 40 and 50 and 60 like never before, or coming up with all kinds of serious illnesses at such young ages, then you understand something is going on in this world. And so if I don't have any of that, if I'm breathing and I'm seeing and I'm hearing and everything is working, that's plenty what to be happy about. Once a person is happy with their lot in life and he feels that everything in life is a free gift from your Creator, then and only then you'll be able to assess yourself and start the process of repenting, which is very important and which we're now going to start off. There are two types of sins that we need to repent for. Everybody needs to know this. Two types. One that occurs between you and your fellow individual, your fellow man, and one between you in your Creator, and they're approached very differently, because your Creator is not your friend, and your friend is not your Creator. They are two separate and distinct categories altogether. They couldn't be more different. And so let's discuss it by starting off with the concept of how do we fix the mistakes that we've made? How do we fix the problems that we've caused between ourselves and our fellow man, whether they're a friend or whether they're an acquaintance or whether they're a complete stranger? Severe and lengthy tribulations often result from transgressions between man and fellow man. Any harm, no matter how small, that one person causes another constitutes a transgression. You hear? Just like when you put your hand in your pocket to get a quarter and you pull out a nickel and have to go back in, as insignificant as that may seem when you're doing it to yourself, the same applies when you're doing it to somebody else. The Creator does not forgive a person for the harm that he does to someone else until, listen to this, the person asks forgiveness from the one that he harmed. You could pray to God 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You could plead. You could give all of your money to charity. You could do all the things that you think are important that are going to win you favor in God's eyes in order for him to forgive you for what you've done to this individual. And it's not going to help you. Nothing will help you. The only thing that will help you is that your friend himself gives you atonement. Your friend himself says, it's okay, I forgive you. And in order for that to happen, you have to ask forgiveness from your friend. It's not implied. Even your actions aren't enough. If you try and do good by them, it's nice, very nice, to try and make things better. You have to verbalize it. Verbalizing is a very, very big part of repentance. Saying the words out loud. It's not enough to have them in your head or in your heart to say, I feel bad, I shouldn't have done it, maybe I'll treat him differently. Not enough. It's very nice, but until you verbalize it, my friends, it's simply not real. As long as the misdeed goes uncorrected, it invokes stern judgment from above. That becomes tribulations and suffering. Even if a person is pious and righteous, he or she won't be forgiven for the harm they've done to others until they placate those individuals. Even if you're the biggest rabbi on planet Earth, even if you are the most righteous individual going around doing amazing things to help the world, you're feeding the masses, but you've harmed an individual, you don't get a discount. There's no break. You need to do right by that individual. Nothing gives you the right to harm somebody else. If you're walking around through life thinking, I do all this good, and therefore the small things that I do to these individuals who I determine are insignificant, they'll be overlooked. Not true, my friends. Hillel, one of our sages, said, do not do to your neighbor what is hateful to you. Before doing or saying anything to others, put yourself in their shoes. How would you feel if someone did or said the same thing to you? Treat others in a manner that you want to be treated. One need not be a genius to understand that it's not a good idea to hit someone on the head with a baseball bat. We certainly would not want that to happen to us. The Creator wants us to avoid hurting other people, both in speech and in deed, and to respect them and to honor their dignity. You've heard this in the secular world. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. This is the root of it, my friends. This is where it comes from. When you approach an individual, and it doesn't matter who it is, if you're approaching that individual with the thought that I should treat this individual in the same way that I would want to be treated in this scenario. If somebody's coming to you looking for a job, give him the same opportunities you would want to be given to you. If somebody's coming to you for help financially, give them the same time and attention and ear that you would want them to give you. If somebody is coming to you or you are interacting with somebody, always stop and think that I am no better than this individual is. And this transaction needs to happen in a way that I need to be proud of, that I would walk away from feeling that it was fair and that it was equitable and that I'm happy and that I wasn't spoken down to and it wasn't derogatory and all these negative things that come from it. If you can walk away in earnest, knowing that you gave 100% effort in that area, you're done. You're not going to make a mistake. It's going to work out the way that it should in your favor. It's when you don't approach the situation in that way, when you approach it differently in a way that you think you're better than somebody else, that you think you know more, you're better than them, you're wealthier than them, you're smarter than them, you're better looking than them. When you start to elevate yourself over another individual, that, my friends, is when the problems start happening. We're going to continue with this today, I should say. You're going to go listen to Megillah, and tonight you're going to have a Purim party, and you're going to have an amazing time. You're going to drink, you're going to be happy, you're going to be relaxed, you're going to enjoy the holiday. If you haven't made plans yet, it's not too late, my friends. Have an amazing, meaningful Purim, and let's put an end to this war now that Haman, the sequel, is dead. Have an amazing, amazing Purim. Thank you for spending time with us on the Trust Factor podcast. If you've heard something today that moved you, save this episode and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss upcoming conversations that challenge, empower, and uplift. And if you're on social media, connect with us. Leave your thoughts. Drop a quote that resonated with you. Hashtag the Trust Factor podcast. Until next time, keep growing in your trust and keep living with purpose. I'm Jesse Revivo, and this has been the Trust Factor podcast. Thanks for listening.